When I was a little kid, my mom brought me home this imported Dragon Ball Broly figure from this dingy strip mall pretty far from our house that had this like mall cart with different imported collectibles, figures, DBZ, VHSs, you name it. It was $50. Now when I was a kid where I lived in the middle of nowhere, $50 for a piece of plastic like this was unheard of. I'm sure my parents thought it was insane compared to the cheap ones at Toys R Us or Kmart, but my mom always tried to give me the world, and she brought me home this $50 Japanese Bandai Broly that I kept in the box, that I would not let anyone play with. I'm talking none of my friends. Even from that very young age, I would try and keep my toys and figures pristine. And I truly thought they had some inherent value that would increase over time. I thought their value validated that Dragon Ball and the anime was important and more than silly cartoons for kids, which is all anyone even thought in the 90s. Now fast forward 25 years or so, and I guess I still have a love for rare spiky-haired anime figures from Japan, because today my friends, I present to you the rarest, sickest, most badass Kill la Kill figure in existence. I've gotten serious offers upwards of $10,000. Crossover Circle Kamui Juunketsu version Matoi Ryuuko.
行くぜさっき
If you are new to figures or garage kits, check out the full explanation video I posted here or in the description. Beyond their rarity, garage kits are at the most basic level, custom made with a more expensive material and often hand painted by a Japanese professional. Of course, there are knockoffs made in Thailand, China, etc. that you should stay away from at all costs, as these are low quality items that profit off of the Japanese sculptors and creators. That's legit.
That is really
Doesn't
cool.
get more legit than that. Than this piece of paper. Yuko donning Satsuki's Juunketsu is undoubtedly the sickest design in all of Kill la Kill, which is undeniably one of the greatest anime ever made, personally in my top 3. Of course, when you have the best creators and artists in animation, Tsushio, Imaishi, Nishigori, and Nakashima, all collaborating on a series together, you are going to end up with a mind-blowing show and iconic designs. Need I say more than 02 from Darling in the Franxx or Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners? Now there have been some great Kill la Kill figures released for the public by companies like Good Smile and Fat, and there are garage kits that come close to this Ryuuko in terms of rarity. Orea's one-of-one homage to Akira that you can see here from my footage I took when I visited Tsushio's exhibit in Nakano, Broadway, Japan many years ago. Yes, there is a painted version of that Akira Ryuuko kit that is not as rare, and the base is not nearly as fleshed out as the original unpainted prototype that was made for the Kill la Kill character designer himself, Tsushio. However, none of these are quite as desirable as the crossover Kamui Juunketsu kit that I have here. If you're a huge Trigger and figure fan, then this Ryuuko has probably been at the top of your wish list, much like myself, since WonFest 2017. But unlike many of you who rightfully so gave up on ever finding this, I searched, and I searched, and I searched day in and day out for years. Which brings me to my overarching point. I've already spoken with the Japanese creator of this Kill la Kill figure kit. He had long since killed my dreams after telling me he would never remake this kit again due to licensing issues. But today we rejoice, my fellow Kill la Kill fans. This Juunketsu Ryuuko Matoi isn't a knockoff kit made in Thailand or China. It was not painted in the US. It wasn't even one of the official rare and precious kits that were sold and painted in Japan at the event. It's the very first completed figure, the original resin Japanese prototype that was completely done to perfection, official Kill la Kill One Fest display figure from the event. Number 1. As a friend in the figure community put it, it's the holy grail of holy grails. Shoutouts Donkey Blunky 28.
Juunketsuに心を委ねなさい、ryuuko。やめろ。やめろ。
As you can see, yes, I have visited Sushio's exhibit in Japan. I have been collecting for many years, and I am well versed in trigger goods and scale figures in general. So let's talk about one of the most beautiful figures on the planet. Ryuuko stands atop the rubble, beaming with her submit or die motto as she looks down on Satsuki. Her villainous anarchic face immediately displaces this figure's atmosphere far from that of your typical anime bishoujo figure. Her smug expression is so reminiscent of episode 21 when Ryuko's talking down to Satsuki about clinging to her mother and calling Senketsu a knockoff. The body design exudes egotistical pride, with Ryuuko clutching the scissor blade thrown over her shoulder as she stares down her opponent from above. It is the immaculate replication from episode 20's ending art piece, and it is an art piece, by the way. I saw the original hand-drawn animation at the last Kill la Kill event in Tokyo in person this summer. Gorgeous. Her dynamic pose is cemented by so much resin mass that's lacking in your average PVC figure. Juunketsu is menacingly full-bodied compared to Fat Company's PVC Ryuuko, which is super nice, don't get me wrong, but Mauji's sculpt is on a completely different level. The paint is on a completely different level than these figures. Seriously, I'm not being dramatic here. One look at this figure next to the nicest PVC scale figure that you can come up with in person, and you can instantly tell that this was completed by a master Japanese painter, and as wonderful as PVC scales are to collect, they will never ever compare to this. The sheer volume and detail of the garage kit is unparalleled by any other Kill la Kill figure ever released. So of course the kit was painted in and built from many more pieces than I had to assemble myself. I was insanely nervous removing and attaching each piece. Starting from the ground up, her base, constructed of concrete wall and steel rubble, has to hold the entire figure in place, so it's very solid. However, nothing is glued together, so the figure itself feels so fragile. It's all held on using pegs, and so this is another reason something like this just cannot be mass produced. So many things would have to be changed. Her legs are really the first place you notice that this isn't a normal figure. The blue shading and intricate folds in the design instantly tell you that it was sculpted and painted by a god-tier professional. The legs then attach into the main body, where the blue lines running up her torso make the skin tones pop so well, and her flawlessly sculpted ass pops even more. You can see a seam in her breastplate because it actually detaches, revealing Ryuuko's lovely underboob below her top. I'd expect nothing less from Sushio and the badass waifu masters at Trigger, but above her top lies one of my favorite accents on the figure, Juunketsu's collar height that nearly reaches her bangs. The sharp sweeping design adds so much to her sinister expression. Now onto the hardest part of the assembly. The shoulders and scissor blade were not easy to line up. They're just such big pieces that it took a lot of time and patience, but it all came together perfectly after a little bit of trial and error. And speaking of the scissor blade, it's yet another piece that you can just compare to scissor blades from other figures and tell it was airbrushed so much more beautifully in Japan. Lastly, her hair ornaments easily slid into place, topping off what is the most gorgeous figure I have ever seen in person. From all the trips to Akiba, to museums in Tokyo, Good Smile Festival, to everything else in my collection thus far, this is the most captivating figure I have ever seen. Would I rather have $10,000 of PVC scales or this one figure? I would pick this one figure every single day of the week. Nothing else compares to this. You can certainly look out for more pictures over on Instagram and Twitter at @soul_animation, and I would sincerely appreciate you rating the pictures I posted on my figure collection. That link is in the description because I would love to get a picture of the day over there. Thank you all so much for watching. This video is years in the making. Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill are truly the reason that this channel even exists in the first place. They're the reason I work at Adult Swim. This figure, this video shot in 4K using ridiculously expensive camera equipment, putting it all together with one of my best friends. It's all honestly a gift to myself that I'm glad I could just share with you all. Seeing the absolute pinnacle of figures on my own shelf every day brings a smile to my face, and I will do my best to preserve it in prime condition for as long as I am on this earth. I think from this video you all can tell that I will be doing that. I know it's hard to get any better than this ever, but stay tuned for what's coming next. I promise you it's going to be even crazier.
やっと面白くなった。
Holy smokes, look at that. Dude, that's amazing.
So それをネタにした漫画。